Thank you for tuning in to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I'd like to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the Black community, hopefully for some resolution, or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is the mentally broken Black woman. Okay, I wanted to first start off by thanking all of my subscribers and listeners and commenters. Sometimes YouTube can be a little sensitive with comments, so they may delete before I can respond to them, but I still want to send a special thanks out, and that you're very much appreciated. I also like to start off by saying that, just like a lot of you, I surf around YouTube and it broke my heart to come across a video of a group of young Black women, and in particular, a young Black woman gyrating very sexually upon her male son, who looked to be no more than about, 3 or 4 years old. And it was just sad how she was in such a lowered position. And this is like sexual abuse, gyrating on your own male child, incestuous, and telling her male son to call her a bitch, along with another boy, slapping her buttocks. Okay, and this is seen as innocent within our communities. And now I want to make a disclaimer: this does not apply to all Black women, of course. But these are the issues that we're having at hand, that we're having nationwide within the Black race. And it's just so sad, and it breaks my heart to see the lowered condition of the Black woman. And also, I had a commenter, he said that it's easy for Black women, it's easy, it's an easy job, and I think that is part of the issue that we have as Black people. We're so into our own pain as Black men and women, that keeps us further divided. That's like part of the divide and conquer technique. Okay, let me explain it to you like this, metaphorically speaking. Okay, let's just say there's a male and female couple that just escaped a catastrophic event, a shipwreck, a plane wreck, something. Someone's trying to shoot at them, and they're both injured. Okay, so if one thinks that the other one is not as injured, they're going to have a every man for himself mentality, right? To where I'm escaping and you can help yourself limp away, right? So it doesn't matter because I'm injured. I'm worried about only my own injuries. But it would be better if both the male and female locked arms and both gained strength to limp away together. And I'm referring that to the Black man and woman. When are we going to realize that we're both a part of a system that oppresses us and wants to see us annihilated? Okay, so one part of our race is not less desired to be annihilated. Okay, the Black man and Black woman's neck is on the chopping block, and the sooner we realize that, is the sooner that we can start looking at each other and having some compassion for each other, instead of asking other people on the outside to do something that we should be doing for ourselves. I want to start. Okay, so let's talk about the mentally damaged, the mentally broken Black woman, okay? I want to first start off by saying, though, that the Black man and woman must cease from this self-righteous attitude that prides him or herself as knowing higher knowledge. Because, some of us, we have knowledge, and, we're more conscious than, so there's different levels, okay? And this type of brother or sister may want to down his or her brother or sister for not knowing, okay? Like, for example, look at that Black man, he's ignorant. Or look at that uncivilized Black woman. Oh, look at me, I'm so smart and enlightened. Because the reality is that the Black race itself is over 1,000 years behind. We're behind in civilization, structure, and productivity, okay? At a time where Black men and women are becoming more conscious, which is a good thing, okay? Those of us who know must help the brothers and sisters who are open-minded, okay? But we've got to do it from a place of compassion. And I know that can be difficult sometimes because, we can get frustrated. Like, why can't they see what I see? But the truth is, not everybody's going to see it, and not everyone's going to see it overnight. Okay? So those that will wake up, they're not going to wake up overnight. Not everybody was born with parents that taught them conscious knowledge. Okay? So we've got to be patient, why some of us are teaching and trying to help our own race of people. Okay? And I want to say, and I want to first start off with saying that I can only address one issue at a time on these episodes, okay? So I want to make both black men and women aware of that because, like I said, this is not a channel that's set to just point fingers at black men or black women. This is a channel that I'm trying to promote healing techniques and methods and shine light and enlighten the black man and woman to the fact that our time is short and that we must wake up. Okay, so this is not for entertainment. So if like I said once before, I'll say it again. If this is what you're looking for, entertainment, some type of, funny, just meaningless accusations, then this is not the channel for you. Because I have a few women who may get upset when I bring up issues that black women need to address. And yet, when I mention issues with black men, they become upset. Okay? And I understand these can be touchy issues, but if we're going to heal here as a whole race of people, we're going to have to hear some things that we quite honestly don't want to hear. Okay? I also want to say, I've noticed a pattern with the trauma of the black man and woman, okay? It seems to go something like black men, black women, black son, black man, black daughter, okay? And the cycle, I'm referring to the cycle of trauma, abuse, physical and sexual between black men and women and children, okay? And because of this, it hurts me to say that due to the intense psychological and mental warfare upon our race of people, that some or quite a few black women nor men will not be able to be saved, okay? And that's very hurtful, that, some of us are not going to be able to be saved, okay? So both black men and women will have to start selecting unbrainwashed partners who can, in retrospect, filter out the mental illness from our black genetic gene pool. Okay, something like a reverse method of how they bred our genes into slavery and inferiority. Okay, so, with the conscious black man, okay, who understands he has to provide, he has to protect. So he's got this down pat, okay? He understands what's going on. And the black woman that knows that, in order to have a successful family, the higher increased rate, you need a black man in the house. You need to be a wife. You need to cooperate with your man to co-create, healthy, strong black children. So, that has to be done to breed out our genetic genes, okay? And this has to be done not by just selecting people that you find cute, attractive, rich, or none of that stuff that you see on TV. You're going to have to take time to get to know if someone's mentally on your level, not just with words, but with action, so that we can develop a new race of black people, okay? That's the only way we're going to do it. An unconscious man can't pick an unconscious woman and then wonder why, she's off cheating and doing this and that. An unconscious woman, it's very dangerous, for her to pick an unconscious man, because he might not stick around to raise the kids. Okay, so both black men and women have to be conscious to create conscious children. Okay, what both black men and women must also understand at the issues at hand go back many centuries, okay, and cannot be simply explained in one book nor just one episode. Now, and I think that's the situation at hand that we must understand, that at times that some speakers might sound like they're contradicting themselves, but this whole situation with the black race is a contradiction. It's all jumbled up like a big jigsaw puzzle with knots and kinks and all, because it's designed for us not to be able to solve it. That's why it's so knotted up and so confusing, okay? And it's not something that's going to be able to just point at one issue and say that's our problem. The situations are very severe, okay? When we attempt to unlock the multi-layered chains that engulf the minds of both the black male and black female psyche. And through these episodes, I will say things that both black men and black women may be uncomfortable with mentally digesting. But I was sent not to tell you what you, black man nor black woman, want to hear. I want to help free black people mentally and spiritually, which will truly lead to physical freedom. But I want to talk about a little bit of our history first as black people in regards to the mentally broken black woman, okay? Both black men and women were raped by white slaveholders, okay? Black men and black women were both forced to have sex with their children, okay? And that's not talked about a lot, that the white slaveholders were raping the black men, okay? Inserting themselves anally and through anus to the black man, okay? And because we hear a lot about the black woman being raped, but also the black man, and how black women and men were forced to mate with their own children, okay, along with other torture methods. This breeding process not only damaged the slaves that were back then, that endured it, but it changed and altered our genetic records, okay? Also, the music we listen to and the movies are all orchestrated to keep the black man and woman's mind entrapped, which of course is another episode, because I would like to get in how our music sounds different than other genres of music for a reason. That robotic, it's caused to what's the word, to I forgot the word I want to use, but it's caused to evoke or stimulate different parts of our chakras that associated with the trauma that we go through, and we normalize it, and we have learned to make it popular within our race. So all we're doing is singing about, and it evokes certain spirits on us too, but I don't want to get too far into that. That's another episode, on how we as black people, more than any other race, are trapped through the things that we love, okay? But let me continue, okay? Many black women are sexually abused before 7 years old, okay? Therefore, their spirit and mind is already mentally damaged before they can even gain total awareness to who they are or their potential, okay? And I want to stop right here. I need the black man to really listen up. I understand that a lot of black males are being raped by their mothers and things of that nature now. But like I said, this thing is generational. We're not talking about back in the 50s and 60s where a lot of black men were raping their daughters, okay? And how, the black women are growing up, okay? And a lot of black mothers that did let their daughters be raped, okay, out of this submissive role that went wrong, okay? And how a lot of these black women have grown up now, okay? And they're upset, and they are mentally damaged, and this mental illness, okay? And how it's just rolling back and forth, okay? And I need you to actually understand what I'm trying to say, okay? So we've got a lot of mentally and sexually, physically damaged black women, okay? Majority of black girls aren't prepped for marriage, but for sexual encounters, okay? The black woman must refuse the Babylonian symbols and harlotry that was designed to destroy her, okay? And I encourage black men not to be aggressive with black women sexually, okay? Don't say you want to be her friend and you're looking for sex, okay? There's a lot that goes into that, but I encourage that too. The black woman must place clothing on her body, okay? So I want to start talking about things that will help develop black women and will help our black race, okay? The black woman must place clothing on her body, because that's an issue with the black woman, okay? And I want to talk to my sisters with love and understanding, okay? I don't want to come from a place of judgment, but we have to talk about these things because it's crippling, it's handicapping the self-esteem of black women, and they don't even know it. And in retrospect, it's killing our black people. Okay, so black men and black women go hand in hand. But this is the part where black women are self-destructive on their own self, okay? We got to put clothing on. It causes you to have low self-esteem. Like, you think that you have high self-esteem, But some of the anger and stuff comes from not being able to get attention from a man of your desire other than taking your clothes off. So it becomes a cycle, okay? It keeps our men in a sexually aroused state, unable to see any other attributes. Okay? Excuse me, okay? So, you know, we can cut this as women talking about we should be able to wear what we want to wear and that men should just be okay. Let's face it, you can be fully clothed, and it's in the nature of a man to still find you sexually attractive, even fully clothed head to toe. So, what do you think is going to happen if you're unclothed and you don't have any clothes on or barely any clothes on, and you're asking for this type of respect, or you want him to talk to you, you want him to get to know your favorite color, you want him to, play video games with you, listen to music, actually treat you like a human being, but then you have your breast out, you have your butt showing, you have prints showing. What do you think's going to happen? Okay, it's time for us as black women to be totally honest with ourselves. If we want to be respected as women, we must dress like women. Okay, so we need to put some length on our skirts. Okay, we need to stop making sure that every time we put on pants, our vaginal print is showing. So you're basically amplifying what you claim that you don't want a man to glorify you for. So it's time for us as black women to really start, examining those things. Also, it diminishes our self-worth and the value others place on us by not having clothes on, okay? It increases the incidence of being disrespected, violated, or raped. Okay, and I know this is another one. A lot of times, we say, it doesn't matter if I'm walking around in a G-string or a bikini, a man should respect me, right? In a perfect world, yes. You think they would just walk by, look at it, admire it, and then that's it, right? But then when you're naked like that, you're evoking a lot of testosterone, a lot of things in the sexual arousal of men. And you think, well, oh, he should be able to control himself, but what about us as black women, okay? What about us controlling ourselves? Enough to place some clothing on to understand the nature of men and not to put ourselves in situations where we can be disrespected, violated, or raped. And yeah, a woman could be fully clothed, okay, and still be violated. But the incidence happens 2 to 3 times more so, 3 to 4 times more so when our daughters and when we as black women start parading our bodies around, okay? It does. It's just reality, okay? Also, another issue. The black woman must stop listening to lyrics that tell her it's okay to sleep with many men. Because in a lot of our lyrics, okay, a lot of our, like I've said before, it's sad that a lot of our black entertainers are getting paid lump sums of money knowing that they're icons, knowing that they're great influencers upon their people, but they don't care. They just want to accept that money. And that just because the music is out there doesn't mean that you have to be fall prey to it. But the reality is, listening to that music over and over again in your mind, and you're feeling, so it makes you normalize, and this goes for black men and women, but we're talking about black women right now. And it normalizes things that shouldn't be normalized, okay? Because it's hurting you as a woman, okay? I want the black woman to study the history of black women being subjugated and stereotyped into prostitution and whoredom. Okay, and I say this because, there was a time in history where black women didn't have a choice but to sleep with 15, 20 men. Okay? And when we talk about, I forgot what the term is, it's when the black woman was sexually assaulted to death. Okay? By 20, 30 men, 40 men. Okay, and how we sing and we glorify it and we're not even aware of it. And now we're perfectly okay with sleeping with 10 to 20 men, and how the black woman was said to only be good for a midnight sexual thrill. But now we've made it popular, okay, but never fitting to be a bride. So this was taught to our women that they were only good for a sexual thrill, but never to be a bride. Yet only able to push out multitudes of children. Okay? And that's a different thing than having a family. Okay? And why today the black woman must push back her pain to debunk the myths and curses placed upon us. Okay? The black woman must begin to value her own body. Okay? Abstain. So these are ways that black women can start to value their own body. Abstain from premarital sex. I don't care what they show you on TV. I don't care what images they show you of black women doing heinous things and unladylike things and, bouncing from man to man, especially if my young ladies are listening. It's a trap. Don't let other older people tell you either that it's okay. It's not. A lot of our people, some of them are mentally damaged, both black men and women, but some of our black women are damaged. Okay? And if you're listening, young black ladies and old and young, abstain from sex until you're married. Okay? Discourage one night stands and friends with benefits. Because to be quite honest, black woman, friends with benefits only benefits the man. You thinking that, you're having sex and, when he's gone because he's only there once a week or a couple times, you have to have another man to replace him, in the meanwhile. And this just sets you up for STDs, more mental illness, broken because you're trying to make sure that you have someone to satisfy you while the other man's gone. Meanwhile, you're being robbed out of the commitment, the home, the house, and the security, okay, and the stability of a man, okay? Before childbearing, so I want to talk to especially women that don't have children. Before childbearing, set your bid high. Tell men you will only be submissive and have kids after you have made a proper marriage for yourself. And that's another thing, as black women, we need to stop making it seem so okay just to have kids without being married. Okay? And we need to set our bid high, not after we have kids, but before we have kids. And I've went into this a lot more in detail in the harsh reality of single motherhood. That's another episode that I've made a while back that kind of goes into how black women have not been taught to set their bars high. And I want to be honest too. The black woman is also have been called what's that word? Desperate, that she's moving too quick. And I encourage the black men not to keep calling their black women that, especially the ones that don't have children. If she's saying, hey, I want to be married, she's not desperate. If she's saying, hey, I don't want to be submissive to a man that's not my husband, doesn't mean she has to be disrespectful to you. But no, a woman should not be submissive, especially to the level that a lot of black men are asking without being his wife. Okay? So, yeah, and I want to encourage the black woman to set her bid high. Set your expectations high before you give yourself away, okay? And to go educate yourself and refine yourself and let these men know proudly that you will not be had without your bid. And whatever that is. Whether you want a home, whether you want to be able to practice your career, and when you have kids, stay at home with the kids till they're about 7 or 6 and don't send them to daycare. Let him know these things that he's going to have to provide until the kids are at least school age, that you could be home with your kids. Let him know these things. And then you maybe can go back to your career once they get of school age. Or you guys can make both deals together, but let them know that before you start having kids, okay, with these guys out here. And let them know. And don't be afraid, and have the self-esteem to let them know, no, I need a proper marriage first. So if he says, oh, girl, you tripping, I ain't getting married, that's the guy to stay away from. So also, the black woman must gain control over her sexuality. And this kind of goes into that video that I seen, that broke my heart. And I'm sure it broke a lot of you guys' hearts out there, ladies and men, okay? The black woman must gain control over her sexuality, her sex drive, and all these things, okay? The black woman must stop performing sexual acts around her children. And that's not the only thing I've saw. I mean, I've been on Facebook and I seen this picture of a black woman in a bathtub on her fours. Looked like she was performing oral sex, but you couldn't see the man in the picture, but you seen the boy in the tub. A little boy in the tub. And it was just really graphic. And it was just like, oh my God, this is incest. This is child abuse. This is pedophilia. The black woman must gain consciousness and self-control Okay, you can't be angry because dad's gone. Yes, it hurts. I understand. And that's part of the issues that we have within the black community that we're still working on black men to come into accountability for. But as the black woman, though, you know, no, it doesn't all fall on us, but I'm talking about us right now. You can't be so mad that you don't care about breaking your child down because you feel like a black man broke you down. You can't do it. You can't. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, I don't have a daycare provider. I'm mad as heck. I don't have one, so I'm just gonna have sex in front of my kids. I don't care. There's nowhere for them to go. You're gonna have to go without sex. You're gonna have to go without it. You're gonna have to, because that's driving you to mental illness, to not face the reality that you may have to go some years without having sex if you want your children to be raised half properly. I say half because the father's not there. Okay, and that's why it's so important for the black woman to choose properly, to make better choices as well. And it would be better if fathers were there to help us pick a man. Okay, it would be better, but you can't go around doing these things in front of your children out of anger, because anger leads to wickedness, and that's part of it. The black woman must stop undressing herself around her children. Okay, you cannot walk around in front of your children. That's child abuse. Okay, it's exposing yourself, which can also be another form of molesting your child, and especially when we're talking about our black sons and stuff like that. The black woman needs to learn some modesty. Modesty is called putting clothes on yourself. It's part of being a woman. A lot of black women have been taught, "Oh, I need to have my breast out, my butt out." You know, this is part of being a woman. No, that's part of what they told black women, that they were supposed to be a prostitute, a Jezebel, things of that nature. A real woman, okay? A woman that has some class and dignity about herself is not going to expose herself to her children, and definitely not her sons, okay? I understand that sometimes apartments and places can be small, but that's why it takes structure, though. You've got to come out the bathroom with a robe on, you know. If you don't have any daycare for your kid, you're not going to be able to have sex, okay? That's just the price that we pay for being a single mom. And I know it sounds like it's unfair because you see the guy having sex everywhere, but we got to stay focused as women, and our children's lives are at stake, okay? Um, the black woman must align back with God to destroy the demonic possession that justifies her being raped and molested as an excuse to rape and molest her son or daughter out of anger. Okay, I'll say that one more time. The black woman must align back with God to destroy the demonic possession that justifies her being raped and molested as an excuse to rape and molest her son or daughter out of anger. Okay, because they always say hurt people hurt people. And this goes for men too. The black men are not off the hook with this. A lot of us have been, or a lot of people have been, abused, or something like that. But we got to learn how to hold it in for the next generation, not to be hurt and abused. Okay? And yes, black women, I know the pain and intense anger you feel at the hands of black males violating you. I know it. Okay? But the black woman must show her strength in a different way now. Okay? So we're known for being this, and we're known for fighting, and we're known for, standing our ground. But we got to help break the generational curses upon our bloodline. The black man needs our help. For those of us that are going to, still date and, be with black men and, vice versa, we got to help break this generational bloodline that's been upon our grandparents and parents. Because if the black woman continues to practice foul language, disrespecting herself, cursing, and refusing to educate herself on class, culture, and refinement and etiquette, then more future children will be damaged. Okay? The black woman must reject the concept of baby mama, which is a whole nother episode I'm going to do. I'm going to do an episode on how the song back in, I think, 97, T-Bird, Baby Daddy, how that was an epidemic set up to further annihilate the black race. I mean, there was always single parenting, but it escalated after that song about 35-40%. 30%, 40% after that song. Baby daddy, baby mama is set up to disassociate black women and men from being together and just having a kid together. Okay? That's what it did. Okay? And it just caused black women to be like breeding ranches and black men to be like studs on the farm. This certain song, but that's a whole nother concept. I mean, a whole nother episode. I'm going to go on though. The concept was designed to kill you, black woman, to leave you an unmarried concubine, okay, to leave your children as bastards. And I hate to use that word, but bastard is a term of an unmarried child. And these are things that a lot of black women don't understand. Okay, and this baby mama thing is designed to keep you an unmarried concubine. Okay, and because it turns you out more and more, you to keep having kids by multiple men, different men, unprotected sex, semen in and out of you. Okay, so you thinking that you're a queen or something like that, and that's nice to say, but the reality is though, when we damage ourselves like that and we keep going here and there, and that's why I encourage the black man as well to marry his women. Okay, instead of tossing them to the side. Okay, and then she's out having sex with someone else. She's turned out. Here and there. And it's just destroying our black race hand in hand. And like it says in Willie Lynch, the black man and the black woman is like an ass or a horse attached by the buttocks, faced opposite directions, both trying to steer and just lost in an axis of orbit of time, okay? Never correcting itself. And that's how we are as black men and women. That's why we got to stop pointing the finger at each other, okay, to understand that this is only going to be healed if black men and both black women heal. To rob you of male security. So this single motherhood thing is to rob you of male security and your children of a legit inheritance. All three of y'all or all four of y'all having his last name, a man in the house, so you don't have to work so hard. So you're not mentally broken down. So you don't feel like you have to be your son or something has to be your husband or something. So you're not broken down mentally ill to that point. And we need more black men who are not going to rape and abuse the kids in the house. Okay? And we need black women to be on the same page so that we can start both producing healthy black children. Okay? The black woman must stop having children by more than one man. Gotta stop doing that. When you're mixing genetics, you're polluting your womb. You're only supposed to have one semen in your womb. I'm going to be honest. And I'm not saying this because some man wants me to say it. No, I'm not that type of woman. Okay? I'm saying it because it's reality. Okay? And I'm a woman saying that. And I'm saying it out of love. Okay? But I'm also saying it out of the truth. A woman is not designed to take multiple semen inside of her. And a part of our issues with being a mother is when we have children by different men. You're dealing with different personalities and you're dealing with all this. And so you got so many, 3-4 different personalities before you know it by 3-4 different men. And you're going crazy trying to deal with them all. It's already hard enough to deal with a man's children by one personality, by one man. Okay, and all the things that it causes, like I said, uterine cancer and things of that nature, And like I said, it increases the risk of mental illness on you as a black woman. Okay, the black woman must stop, I already said that, must stop having children by more than one man because it perpetuates the myth that black women only breed kids and not families. Okay, so just keep having kids. It just already perpetuates that we breed kids. And as you see, breed is like an animalistic term for having mares and offspring, but that we can't have families though. And families is different than having kids. When you have a male and a female in the house, okay? And I want the black woman to know that she deserves a family. She deserves a husband in the house. Okay? I know with the way we've been treated, it's hard to see ourselves at times as worthy of real love and family. I know it. I know it, black woman. I know it's hard. I know it. Especially with a lot of us coming from families, that may not have loved us in return but you still got to be strong though. But black women must stop having children with the plan B intent of gaining child support instead of a family and being a bride. The black woman must learn how to shoot for the sky. And the sky is, after you've educated yourself, you've gotten yourself together, being a bride, being a wife. There's nothing wrong with that, even in 2021. How come it's more cool for all other races, the women, to be a bride, but oh no, not us, not us. I know we're so set on autopilot of being able to handle everything on our own. I know it. I know it's not all of our fault. But the truth is, we've got to start having more self-esteem in ourselves that we can be married. And we need to start promoting this to our men too. We don't have to yell it at them. We can show them that by keeping our legs closed and letting them know if they want to get in between those legs that a ring is required and commitment. Because it keeps our black children in a system that only sees them as a serial number. Okay? So we thinking we getting a check. A lot of us think we're getting a check. We're showing this black man, we can call on him anytime we want, get him locked up or a court case. But that system, that county, that job and family services doesn't care. They're getting their cut and they're seeing our kids as serial numbers. Another way where their kids are getting wealthy off of. Why they're married though. And we're not. Okay? And our kids are suffering. We not only rob ourselves of a family, black woman, but some of us trade in our children's chance of a true family for a check. As black women, we must watch how we talk to men. Okay, this is a big one. I know, like I said, no one's telling me to say anything. This is just reality, okay? Sometimes our tone causes them to get more upset. The key is to go softer when they get louder, especially if you're going to have a man in the house. If you're not down with this, it's best to stay single because you're always going to have trouble, with a man. If he's, I'm not saying accept abuse, but, if he's getting loud and you're getting louder, and I think a lot of times, like, if we've been abused, as a black woman, or if you've been abused as a black woman, you know what I mean? You don't want a man to overpower you. That's the last thing you want. So you want to get more aggressive to him because it triggers you back to when you were abused by a man and you couldn't help yourself, especially if you were a little girl. So I understand where that would be an issue. But if you want to get your way with a man more so, it's better to play that role of being softer, because it causes him to lower his tone, if anything, versus if you're getting louder, he's going to try to, of course, reassert himself in that situation, and things might get ugly and he might get louder, okay? We cannot continue to be loud in public as black women. One black woman represents us all in regards to the female black image, okay? And I think that's deep. I'm not saying all black women are loud out in public, but it's something about a lady, she's her loudest when she's well-spoken and when she's seen and not loud. I see that so much. Just the vocabulary and just the way the black woman pronounces her words. It's slave talk, okay? Because a lot of black women have not been taught the proper refinement of speech. And they think that it's unpopular or you're trying to be something other than black. And like I've said once before, what is being black? Are you saying yourself that being black is ignorant? And if you're not being ignorant, you're not black? To say that you're acting better than. What does that really mean? That goes for black men and black women. The black woman's speech, the way she pronounces her words, and I find that a lot of black women, especially in the urban areas, have never corrected the slave plantation talk. That what up, yeah, girl, what bit, what? That type of yap, yap, yap. That type of talk that turns off the ears of men, not only men, but employers and people in society, period. And also lets people know directly where you're from. And there's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're from. If you're from the urban area or area that may be poor, it doesn't matter. But it lets people directly know, that you cannot rise above where you're from because of how you talk. That's the first signifier to a lot of people is in your education status is how you talk. And you can say a lot of girls, they have a degree and they talk like that. But the degree is one thing, black woman. But what the black woman also must work on is her refinement in class. And that's where we're lacking in as a whole, as black women. And lastly, in regards to a black man disrespecting you, okay, if you see he is disrespectful, you as a black woman must have enough strength to walk away. Do not stay because of money or great sexual encounters. Okay, because I think that happens a lot. You can't control a man or people, period. But it's time for the black woman to have some self-respect for herself. If you know a man is not treating you right, don't try to get back on his level and disrespect him back. That only lowers yourself along with that man. It's time just to walk away. Don't be afraid of him not answering his phone. Don't be afraid of, him going on to talk to another woman. Oh, well. Your self-dignity should be more important than that. Okay? And if you are at a point or time where you cannot respect a man or talk to them without anger, stay away from men. And I'm going to add something in personally for myself to tell you. It doesn't have to deal with like intense trauma or abuse, but sometimes I might not feel like respecting a man that day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I'm PO'd off by men, and you know what I do though? I stay away from them. If I can't talk to them, with some type of respect, I just stay away. I don't talk to them on the phone. I don't do any of that because I know it's not going to be well. It's not going to end well. Even when I go into stores and stuff, I'll stay away from the stores and stuff because there's men there, men, they respond better to women, when they have a sense of feeling in charge. It's just in a man's nature, just like it's in our nature to want to be provided for and protected. And it goes hand in hand simultaneously, and like I said, when I'm feeling like I can talk to them, with respect, I'll come around. That's just reality. But if I don't feel like it, I'm going to stay away. And I encourage black women to be the same way. Don't go around men, period, if you're feeling like you cannot respect them. You don't go around them. Stay away from them. Let me see. Let me continue. One point to leave my sisters with, okay? The art of being a woman is about how to persuade a man to see your point of view without yelling and stamping your feet and throwing tantrums. The art of being a woman is persuading a man towards an idea, but in a way to make him feel like he came up with the idea all along. But you're the one that put it in his head. Not forcefully, okay? And not by yelling and throwing tantrums. That's part of being a woman here, okay? I know it's tough and rough, but that pretty much concludes this segment. I want to say I love my sisters out there. I love my brothers out there. And there's just so many issues. We can only cover them one day at a time, one episode at a time. And each one teach one out there. If you have the knowledge, instead of talking about meaningless things like who won the BET Awards, who dropped it on camera, who shot who in the park. Let's talk about why are we shooting each other. Let's talk about why our black men are killing each other and there's less of them to protect their black women. Let's talk about the black women cultivating and educating the next generation of black children. Let's talk about meaningful conversations like that and squash conversations that are not going to benefit our people, okay? That pretty much concludes this segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. If you would like, you can subscribe to my channel. If you found this useful, you can also hit the share button to share with other people. You can also hit the like button. If you have any questions or suggestions, or you would like to make a financial contribution, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.